Hey, Mike, what was that journey? What was the teachings you were involved with?
Uh, it's called Vipassana. It's a 10-day course. It's meditation stuff. So that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, I'm totally
Um,
interested to hear more about that. As so, are you're still on this journey, right? You're just like a day off where you're able to jump on some shows.
no, no, no. It's 10 days of like lockdown. Basically, once you are allowed to come in, then there's no internet, no reading, no anything. You just do meditation. You eat, sleep, and meditate. That's it for 10 days.
Wow.
And then I just got out today, so it's kind of like prison almost. And then uh,
Wow. Got to
it's
hear
like
about that.
almost like 11, 12 hours of meditation per day.
Everything you heard, Mike, that we're talking about earlier with these questions, which got us. Was there anything like that kind of in this meditation training that you were in? It's almost the same, or
No, not at all. I would say it's Vipassana. Uh, the translation from Pali, which is a language that Buddha, the Gautama, Buddha is a title, right? Buddha is a
Yeah.
title. So there have been many Buddhas before Gautama the Buddha, and many Buddhas after. But when we speak about Buddha, we're talking about Siddhartha Gautama, which is the most famous one. That's the one that you hear about here in Nepal and India. He was actually born here in Nepal, in Lumbini, and he was a prince, and he, left that livelihood and decided to be an aesthetic, and he trained for 6 years, and then he became enlightened. And once he became enlightened, he wanted to share his knowledge with people. And so Vipassana, this technique, has been around before Buddha, before Siddhartha Gautama was around. So it's all about breathing, and it's all about being aware of your sensations. So it's definitely very different path than some other people may choose to go. We don't have there. It's non-sectarian, so you can be a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. It doesn't matter. They or Jew. It doesn't matter. There's no theology that's taught here. It's all very logical.
on your journey, did you feel that it's making you a better person after this 10 days?
Yeah, this is my sixth time doing it, and I have
Oh,
served 3 times, and I've done what is called a satipatthana, which is another type of vipassana. And so I spent probably more than 100 days doing this type of meditation over the past 5 years. So like it's 10-day
wow.
course, right? So for the past 5 years, I've done more than 10 courses basically.
Oh shit! You can teach it.
You have a good one. Well, oh,
How
sorry,
long was
sorry
waiting?
about that. No, sorry about that. That was awesome. Yeah, you said something cool, Mike. I want everybody to know. Yeah, I this channel is not based all around flat Earth or Mandela Effect Paranormal. This channel is about learning flat Earth, learning the
Education.
paranormal, learning the Mandela Effect. That's why if you look at
Right.
my background, I have all three names on there, and you see
Education.
fourth name, Gypsy Road, Journey into the Unknown, because I want to learn everything that I can, and then what
No,
I
Yes.
and
do with that information is up to each individual person. So I appreciate that. So Mike, just tell us about. You said you've done this journey, this kind of meditation a lot of times. Why? I mean, what? Just break it down. Why you want to do it?
It's you, man.
all right. Well, I guess the way I feel about it is uh, we can philosophy can only take you so far in life, right? We can talk about theology and religion and all this kind of stuff, but it's all ultimately just about um, the practice, and meditation is the practice, and whatever that you um, gain, you can say, from meditation, you apply into real life, because in real life it's always a test, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Work, people,
Mm-hmm.
society, cars, traffic, uh, meeting people, talking about subjects. It's always a test. and it's always a test about who you are. It's all about who you are, right? And so if you change yourself, right, through practice, then maybe you change how you react to the reality, because the reality is going to be what it is. It's going to run you down or do whatever it's going to do to you, but how you react to it is going to make the difference in the way you, I guess, see reality or how you feel about reality. So that's the
That's how I
reason why I
feel.
do it. Yeah, to
That's how I
cultivate.
feel. That's good.
Yeah,
Well said, man.
yeah,
I got any criticism. That's just basically what it's a trial and error game, man. It's like martial arts class, dude. Sifu would be like, "Did you learn from that? I just fell
yeah,
and hit my face." He said, "Well, did you
yeah.
learn from that?" But I
Hmm.
hit my face when I've tripped over, couldn't do it right. He says, "Well, then you learn from that."
And let me ask
Yeah.
Sure.
you
Yeah.
a logical question about what you just done. Like, just say, for example, one day I s- I raise my hand and say I want to do this. Like,
Hmm.
so how would I do that? Is this something like I have to like pay money to
No,
join? Is
no, it's you need time. That's the most important
the
thing. You
time?
need the
Okay,
time, right? You need the minimum. Well, you need actually like 12 days, because like the
you got to
first day is
travel.
orientation.
Okay.
No, there are centers in America as well, but you have to
Oh, okay.
apply. Yeah, there you can just go to Vipassana. You can just Google Vipassana, and you'll start seeing a map, and you'll see the different centers. But most of them are in India and Nepal area, but they're spread. There are like 200 centers around the world, so you could
Is there one
apply.
that's considered like the best overall, or
No,
it
no, no,
doesn't really
no.
matter?
Vipassana centers are like kind of like the McDonald's. You get a burger from here and you get a burger from China. It should be the same quarter
Okay.
pounder. Okay.
Okay.
There's no
Well
difference
said.
in terms of, yeah, there's no difference in the way they go about it. So everything is based on donation, which is something that you don't even need to worry about at the beginning. So there's no money that you have to pay from the beginning. You just have to sign up. But the most important thing is the willingness to want to do it and having the
Yeah.
time to want to do it. That's the most important thing.
That's got to be hard, man.
Yeah. So
That's
like
hard.
you go in and you have no you have to hand in your phone, your wallet. You're not carrying any money around. You're not buying anything.
Sounds like military boot camp.
It's boot camp. It's really just boot
Yeah.
camp, and no internet. There's no internet. There's
Nope.
no reading, no
Nope.
writing, no talking,
Nope.
no looking at anybody.
Nope.
Just you go. You have a room. It's like a small room, and there's like two beds, and you have usually a roommate, and you wake up 4 in the morning. Okay. And
Woohoo.
you have to start practicing at 4:30. So the schedule is this: is 4:30 to 6:30 meditation, and 6:30 to 8 is breakfast and rest. 8 to 11 is meditation. 11 to 1 is lunch and rest. Okay. 1 to 5 is meditation. And 5 to 6, you don't have dinner. You just drink some hot water or tea or whatever. And then 6 to 7:30 is meditation. And 7:30 to 9 is what's called satsang, which is you listen to a lecture. You understand like why you're doing this kind of practice. They, teach you the the ideal of the philosophy of vipassana, and then you do half an hour more meditation from 9 to 9:30, and then 9:30 to 10 is bedtime, and then you do that for 10 days basically, and then
Wow.
you get out on the 11th day morning. You still do meditation in the morning, and then you have breakfast, and they kick you out of there. So
Now,
Wow.
that's
I want to ask you this. Let me
hmm
try to explain this best I can. Like when you go to boot camp, you go in
yep.
with a group of people, okay?
Okay.
And from day one, you're one way. And at the end of boot camp, it changes you. It changes each individual person, and you can see the
Hmm.
changes through somebody. Uh,
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
do you go in like with the group, and after 10 days, do you see a difference between the training you received with the people you went in with?
um well, uh, there are like varying degrees of levels. So there are a lot of people who are attending for the first time, right? So like they don't have no experience. I've done it, like I said, like about 10 times if you include the service. I've done, and there are other people who have done even more, etc. So there are varying degrees of experience there. The people who've done it for the first time, I'd say that some kind of get more out of it. You know, it's like trying to light a fire. You don't light a fire from like the first spark. And 10 days is like the minimum amount of time for a human being to kind of light up. That's why they have the minimum of 10 days. It's like you need the
Okay.
10 days to really, you know, um, build up that energy. So it kind of takes you to the next level. But some people, you know, after the first time, even second or third time, they don't light up, you know. So it
Oh,
depends on the individual, you know.
okay.
Do you
Yeah.
see people going in there like, like a joke, like trying to, it's not going to change me, like, you know what I mean? Those kind of people that just want to prove that you can't change me kind of attitude.
What I don't know. I mean, I can't say that I've met such people. I'm sure they may exist, but they don't, you know, Vipassana doesn't care. You still get up at 4 in the morning. You still have to go and sit. 1 second. Hello?
Mhm. That's cool. You said it doesn't matter. You still get up at 4 in the morning, regardless if
Yeah,
you think of a
sorry.
joke or not.
No,
I
it's
like
it's kind of like boot camp in a way. You once you're there, you're there. You're getting up. If you think
you're
it's gonna
getting
be
up.
Either you do it or you don't, because if you
Yeah.
don't do it, then you just end up quitting, because the teachers will talk to you, and then there are servers who are there who's gonna be on your ass, basically, if you're not gonna be there, you know, to do it. And the thing is, like, you know, this isn't the military. This is
this is
this
volunteer.
is
Yeah.
this is practice. Yeah, it's you
Yeah.
go and you volunteer. So it's like, why are you there? If you don't want to be there, why are you there?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's yeah. So like there are people who quit. You know, they spend 2-3 days and they're like, this is not for me. And you know, nobody misses them. It's fine. They should
Nobody
go.
misses that.
But I
Yeah,
would
it's
think with society, the way we're so surrounded by, internet and, being on phones, like, we're doing this like right now, that
yep.
it gets harder and harder every year because people think I could be off on the internet for 10 days, but it's like withdrawals, like going through withdrawals now.
Yeah, it's extreme withdrawal because you have to follow the precepts that's prescribed here. You know, no alcohol, no sex, no internet, no talking. You know, like different people gonna have different withdrawal issues, right? Some people gonna have problems not talking. Some people are gonna have problems not being on Facebook. Some people are gonna have problems not being able to drink or smoke, whatever. You know,
May
but
I ask what was
none of that
yours?
goes. What?
May I
Yeah.
ask what was like your biggest withdrawal doing it for 10 days?
My biggest withdrawal. I don't think I really have one, to be honest. I
Oh, you're
enjoy
lucky,
talking
man.
to people.
I would think because you're such a great talker, you're such a great communicator that it'd be being off the internet for you, like because you get you do great speeches, you explain things very well. I would think that would have been your biggest withdrawal, that you're not able to do that.
No, not at all. I mean, like, I'm actually quite an introvert. I spent this winter. Excuse me. I have to speak a little bit softer
Oh, go ahead.
because I think so. I've spent last winter like completely alone in the Himalayas, where I am, and I didn't see anybody for like 3 months. I
Wow.
think only in, like some people might get like cabin fever by doing that, but I enjoy that experience, and it's fine with me. I don't need to see anybody for 3 months. I was sick with fever for 3 days. I thought I was gonna not make it at some point, but but I'm so stubborn. I wouldn't call anybody to come and help me either. So
Man,
You live.
don't be stubborn, man. We can't lose you.
You live.
I'll be honest. I missed you being in the chat, kind of bringing some knowledge and questioning things, because when you question is when you learn something. When you question, hey, I think you're wrong on this one. You bring
Mm.
great knowledge. So I kind of missed you that you were in the chat for the last 10
Well, I
minutes.
People were
appreciate that,
looking
Eric.
for him. People were looking for you, man. They're like,
Who?
where's Chiquita? Where's Chiquita?
Like I said, you help us be great.
He's in between his thingies. He's like he's in transition over to India or somewhere. Everyone's like, where's the at first,
No,
I'm not
well,
gonna give you, I'm
yeah.
not gonna blow your head up or anything, give you inflation. But at first, they were asking where you were because you're
Well,
always in
I
the
really
sci-fi.
appreciate that. I you know, I don't know. I mean, I to be honest, I think like I've been really. We are all very fascinated with the Mandela effect, and we've been very much involved. And I've been very much involved for a little while. And now I feel like I need to kind of step back a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's only so much like changes that you can really handle until they get kind of up to neck high, and you're like, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of
I
know.
reached that point.
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about on a certain level. Like sometimes I don't want to do like this show every single day about Mandela effect every single time.
Right.
So I love switching it up, having somebody from
Yeah.
the paranormal side, get that little release, because the whole weekend everybody was just talking about Crazy Mike, the guy who died in a rocket crash.
Yeah. Mad Mike.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you hear that too much. I want to hear something different.
I didn't hear about that.
You know what? Oh, you didn't
yeah,
hear that?
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I actually kind of weird. I don't really go to the internet when I'm not on with you guys. I'm not really on the internet. Kind of like what Mike talked about. I'm depressed of it. I'm not depressed of it. I just don't mess with it. I get tired of the people with their stuff. I just come on when you guys come on and do yours. Then I know if I'm gonna do a day, and then I'll come on mine. And if I have my special guests, is hey, you want to go on like on a Wednesday? I'm like, yeah, I'll go on a Wednesday. So we just go on.
Yeah. That's why I
Basic
don't do a show
information.
every single day. Exactly right. We only do 3
Yeah, I
days
kind
a
of
week.
throttle it back.
To me, every single day gets kind of
Yeah,
not real anymore. It gets like, okay, what do I got to put on today? When you just do 3
Right.
days, it makes it more exciting. Like I get excited for Tuesday because it's been so long since we done a show. It's been like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's always very much dependent on the material, right, and the content in which that you are going to be. I mean, maybe we could go by a week, and then there could be like some major, maybe the Statue of Liberty changed again, or
Yeah.
whatever. It could be something really amazing, and people need to go through that. But I guess what I'm talking about is more like like Daniel-san from Karate Kid, and his
Yep.
bandana changing from red
Yeah.
to black to blue, and then now it's green, and it's like, okay, it's amazing that it's doing that, but it's
Green.
like there's so much. I mean, it's not green, but I mean, it's like, what's the next thing?
Yeah. I need
You know
to
what I
change
mean?
again. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think
Yeah,
about it.
like, okay, like, we're gonna have to write all this down, and there's thousands, really, there are literally thousands of changes.
Dude, I
And
open up a magazine. I'll open up a magazine, and I can just go through the magazine, and I just throw it down. I like, okay, no, done. I can make a show.
Yeah.
I can make 4 or 5 shows that based off one magazine. Done.
Right.
There's people that have that. They just like yourself, like Eric, and they just they are who they are. You can pick up a magazine and see all the effects changes, and you can make videos about it. That could be your life. You could just be consumed by it. I could just go out and look at things and just, okay, oh, this changed. Done. I could go through history and look at the history and say, this. I remember this history like this and this and this, and put up a whole presentation on it. I ain't doing that no more, man. Either you are in or you're out. At this point, you're in or you're out.
I think you screwed me up because sometimes you talk about numbers so much.
Numbers
Here
are
it is
fake.
on TV yesterday. Here it is. Back to the Future was on. I put it on. You go open up the machine. 1985. Here I am. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. Take away 5 is 13.
Mike
1985.
got that.
Next to
Mike's
you,
got
I'm
that.
doing math now.
Mike's got that. He could probably get him doing it, but I've stopped. The whole the virus, the coronavirus, is just nothing but 13s, and then you look at Trump's last speech was 33, 13s, 13. So like I'm done. I turn the speech off. I can't do it.
No, I think that's why I like going to movies. Watching a movie for the first time, because you're not watching it for no Mandela effect. What's changing? You're seeing something for the first time. It's like refreshing.
Yeah,
but then later on, those movies will have Mandela effect.
Yes.
And then,
they don't have the
when we
numbers
talk
come
about
out.
that, I mean, it just piles on. There's no end to it. It just, you can make a whole list of stuff. And I guess I always like to try to see things in a big picture way. I want to see the meanings behind the changes. Why is certain letters are changing? Or why does 13 keeps coming up? Or what does how do they, whomever they are, how do they see 666 or 33 or 32? Like, what do they get out of it? And who's causing the Mandela effect? These things are more pertinent questions to me than what color the bandana was. That's like, we're at a point where like we know Mandela effect is real. But
Yeah.
the thing is,
You're the
okay,
code.
we know that it
You're doing the code
exists.
effect.
Yeah,
You're doing the
we're
code
past
effect.
that
You're like
point.
at my level. Yeah, you do what I'm doing. You're at the code effect now. Now you're examining codes. You're doing codes. You're writing down.
Yeah.
Fuck the effect. Look right at the code. Look at the number. Write it down, and then have an idea like that. You
But
just got to
Mike,
do the code effect.
But Mike, does it ever like drive you crazy that sometimes you feel like you might not be getting the answer fast enough, or you never got the answer you're looking for, or is that something that you're still looking for?
I think we're always looking for answers. I think we're gonna be looking for answers till we die, personally. So it doesn't necessarily frustrate me or make me go crazy or whatever. I think it is possible for a person to be obsessed. I feel like I am obsessed, but I'm also obsessed about meditation and learning as well. But Mandela effect became like an obsession. It became like an object of my obsession for some time. But I want to channel that energy in another direction because I want to see how things are connected. I want to see, you know, um, what it means to me, I guess, as an individual, because I think everything is interconnected, and I have to like get an answer for myself
That's it.
in order to
Yeah.
be able to, I don't know,
Well,
just wrap my mind around it. Yeah.
how many years has it been since you left the United States? How many years
Long
you been?
time.
How long?
I was adopted when I was 10 years old from South Korea.
Yeah, I
And
remember
so
that.
okay, so I lived in America from 10 to 25.
And
So
you
I
left.
was in America. Yeah, and then I left basically 25 to 35 in
Whoa.
Korea. So I spent 10 years in Korea after I was adopted.
Are you ever gonna
And
come back and visit, or you like where you're at right now?
I'm not sure. And then I've been in this like traveling in India and Nepal for the past 5 years, almost 6 years now. Like in maybe about 3 4 months, it'll be close to 6 years actually that I've been in India and Nepal. Um, when I left Korea and I just got rid of everything and I just had a backpack, I just prayed to God and said, I don't care where you take me. I don't care, what kind of shit situation that you have to drag me through, but I just want to know the truth in any which way. So I feel like this process is, this prayer is being answered for me, and I used to have some, wealth, you can say, but I've lost a lot of it over the years. A lot of them got stolen, and a bad investment, and I've also spent a lot of time and energy in an orphanage in Nepal when I first arrived as well, et cetera, et cetera. It's not a, sob story. I'm not, I don't need a little violin for myself. I just explain my situation, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be where I am and the process that I'm going through. And and without having gone through those experiences, I would not have found Vipassana. I would not have found myself in a hut. I put myself in a hut because I got tired of staying in caves and guest houses. I was staying. I was driving around my motorcycle. I was in Nepal. I was involved in um, uh, guest house business, and then the people I was working with completely screwed me over. Not just one group of people, but several, and I got tired of them. And then I exported coffee, and then I never, I worked for a year and a half for a guy, and he never gave me commission, and I just got tired of working with people. Like it's just like they're just gonna, and I just said, okay, screw everything, this is not for me. And so I sold everything I had. I converted into a motorcycle, and then I was just driving around for about a year. And and then I got tired of that because I drove like 12 hours. I drove 26 hours once, like straight.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
I drove from just last year, or no, actually, yeah, last year in August, I drove from Nepal to where I live, and that's like from the mountain to the valley to the mountains again, and that was like total amount of time I spent was like 32, 33 hours, but I drove for like almost 26, 27 of those hours. you know,
So
yeah.
as of today, what's next for you?
I'm in Nepal because I wanted to do the Vipassana program, and then I needed to do a visa run. I can only stay in India 6 months at a time. So maybe after about a week, I will go back to India to my hut, and then like I'm I have books. Actually, I have a lot of books that I keep at my friend's place here. The monks, they're like yoga books and um, like I'm taking the Bible actually. Where's my Bible? Oh, it's I'm taking the 1599 Geneva Bible with me because I want to study that and then go through the Mandela effects there as well. So it's research. I feel like I need to do research for the next couple years.
Yeah.
Well, somebody wants to
Hell
let you
yeah.
know driving 24 hours on a motorcycle sounds super dangerous.
Yes, Sandy, it is because I fell asleep. I was driving and driving, and then it was like around midnight, and I just stopped at some like truck stop. This Indian truck stop. It's just like a little hut, and they got this TV blaring, and then I just slept on the bed, got eaten by mosquitoes. I got maybe 45 minutes sleep in, and then I got back on the bus, and I was driving like at midnight till like the morning, like 9 in the morning, and then you got all these at nighttime. It's just big ass trucks. They got their runs they're making, and you're just trying to avoid them because they're flashing their highlights on you. And then when I was in the mountains, actually I lost a little bit of time. Like I fell asleep while I was driving,
Oh
and
no.
I noticed like, oh shit, I just lost like 10 seconds. I remember being there, and then I woke up, and then I'm like over here, and so I just stopped somewhere and just like slept on the floor
You
for like
just
an
keep
hour.
dying up there. You just keep dying up on top of the mountain.
I think there's a part of me that wants to.
Well, what I know of you in your life, you're a flat earther and you are also Mandela effect. What came first for you?
Flat Earth, much earlier. I became a flat earther almost when I came to Nepal. I was already into conspiracy theories quite a bit. Like I was starting to wake up in 9/11. I think a lot of people 9/11 was a big event for them, and I decided to like something didn't sit well with me. It's not like I knew that it was a conspiracy or whatever, but it just didn't sit well with me. I think around 2004, 2005, I was starting to once I got out of university, I started to look into because my father, I think I told you, is an economic professor. So one of the
Yeah.
first kind of conspiracy theories I looked into is called the Money Masters by Bill shoot I've forgotten his last name, but he is called Money Masters, and it's about the Rothschilds and how they created their wealth and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and then after that, I got into the 9/11 stuff, and then it was just like David Icke and all this conspiracy stuff and UFO stuff, and then so it was just like the 10 years I was in Korea. Yeah,
Here,
yeah,
do what?
Your story sounds a lot like Joey Roca has been on here like a lot last week, and he said almost the same thing you're saying. He was into flat Earth first, and then
Same thing.
9/11 kind of woke him up, and now he's into the Mandela effect. So it almost sounds the same in
Yeah,
a lot
maybe.
of
I
ways.
don't know. I was missing in action for the last couple of weeks, so I don't know who this individual is, but sure. I mean, like it's 9/11 first for me, for sure, and then all these different conspiracies, UFOs, and all this kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
and if you get into UFO kind of stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
abductions and all this,
I got
people.
abducted.
You
Keep
have you
joking
really?
about it. I got abducted Sunday, I think it was.
Tell us
I'm
about
not
it.
joking.
Okay,
That's what people
tell
tell
us
me.
what
What
happened
happened?
that morning when you woke
Yeah.
up on this day
I'll
you're talking
show
about.
you some evidence. I'll show you some fucking evidence. Now I
Okay.
debunked. I said no. No, but man, not to. I don't want to cut off Mike, but he was talking about. So I made my show Saturday, and I didn't even want to do that, but I was just doing it for code's sakes. Whenever I got out there, and then my shoulder was hurting real bad. You talk about years, Eric. I woke up Sunday morning and I feel like somebody stuck a needle in it. Like I got
Mhm.
you guys have gotten shots before. You've gotten shots like in
Yes.
your arm.
Yeah, right in
Yeah.
here, right underneath the collarbone.
Yeah. But no, mine was here. It was in
Mhm.
my fucking arm. And I swear to God, I got a shot, man. Somebody put me
Mhm.
someone slipped me a fucking There's nobody in the house. So that my flatmates are gone because of all the flooding going on. I was literally by myself. That's why I was like, what the hell? So I was by myself alone. I woke up the next day at noon. No, I didn't have that much, people. I drink a lot. It wasn't that much. I watched a movie and fell asleep. Woke up at noon. When the flatmates come over, it's in the medical field. I said, man, look at my arm. I could barely pick it up. I can't pick it up. It's like it's fucking something in my arm. There's a fucking needle in my arm.
Every morning. Every morning.
Yeah, you got the same thing. So I'm sitting there walking around and taking a shower. I can't see nothing. I got my tattoo. I got a tattoo. And so I'm looking at my tattoo and I said, there's got to be a red mark, man. No, nobody in the house, though. It's got to be something. And then so the flatmate came back and said, can you look at my arm, man, and just be thorough? Look at my fucking arm. So the person looked up and down my arm and they said, you know what? I found something. I said, well, you found a prick. He said, no, I found something weirder. I said, what do you mean weirder? So, and you guys can help me out here.
You had an implant.
Myself, and I'm still debating it. Now, there's a tattoo. Tattoo ink is certain layers of skin. It takes lasers to remove a tattoo. Lasers and lasers remove a tattoo.
Yep.
There's a white spot, a white perfect circle, white flesh circle that actually removed some of the in the tattoo that the ink isn't in it. So you could see the perfectly round circle within the ink, which means they had stuck something in my arm to remove flesh. Like it in my arm and my bone, and it pulled out flesh. I go, bullshit. So I got up on it, and it is there. It's like, I don't need to lie to nobody. I can show them my arm.
I'm looking at mine now.
You're going to have to zoom it in. But there's a white dot.
Here,
Eric, can you
let me put you on here, solo layout. Oh, right there.
I see it. Yeah.
It's a perfect. The ink, guys. Where's the fucking ink? It's a white circle.
Looks like an eyeball.
It looks like an eyeball. That's what I never. Here's the other one. Nothing. There's the other one. Nothing. And look at that one. It's a white dot. It's nothing on that part. And then that one's got a white dot. And I'm looking at this person. We got a microscope. I said, that's flesh. It's pure white. Like a white dye, but it's flesh. There's no rays to it. There's no nothing. It's like they had removed a chunk of flesh.
What do you think, Bob? Mike Haley thinks, I heard this on Brian's show, maybe it's a chip. Do you think maybe they put a chip in you?
This whole arm is swollen and was swollen, and I could barely pick it up. And it goes right into the shoulder. And today, I feel like I have a mild virus. Like a virus, like a little bit of a bug. Like when you go get those flu shots, and then the day after they say you don't get sick, but you get a little bit fucked up. So I feel like I got a flu shot. And it's real. You could see the white dot. I was like, what is that? White dot. It looks like an eye. And so another person that comes in and goes, it looks like a dragon now, like with a white eye.
Do you think the prick was done to activate you?
I don't know, man, but it's there. And then here,
let me go back to solo.
It's sunk in. I got it's sunk in here.
You got the same
it's
thing.
Like my eyes, like a dot. I got like a third eye.
Yeah, you got the Hindu dot.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hindu dot.
Yeah, look. It's like it's sunk in right here. It's sunk in and dark. They said, did you put a dot on your forehead? I said, no. Well, look at your forehead. I go, there's a little dirt in there, but there's a dark spot. And then I said, don't care about that, but what about my arm? And then they go, you also got a white dot there.
Keep talking. I'm going to fill this up.
It happened just Sunday, dude. I'm like...
I tend to believe that there are different alien factions and different alien hierarchies, you can say, or different. There's some government vehicles out there, the UFOs, and they also do abductions as well. And then there are the gray aliens, and we know about the reptilians, and also the mantis types and the tall whites, and et cetera, et cetera. And they're actually quite a list of aliens, so we don't know the players involved. Like we are like really not in the know of
Yeah,
like what kind of crap that they're doing, and they may not all be lined up with each other either. You know, what I mean, they
yeah,
could
yeah,
be, you
yeah.
know, they could be good
Play
ones,
with
and there
me,
could be
man.
other not so good. But there's this one French researcher. I think his name is Vahi. Uh, uh, I have to look up his book, but anyway, like I remember him talking about how he believes that the aliens were demonic, and I kind of start to see why he felt that way, because when I first got into alien research as well, and the people who were being abducted by the Greys, like they're the Rh negatives, they're
That's me.
highly
That's me.
valued.
Yeah, I'm
So
an
a
O
lot of
negative.
like, a lot of Native Americans, a lot of Celtic people of Rh negative blood, they were being
Hmm.
abducted, in a disproportionate amount. More than 50% of them were uh, abducted and being reproduced or having like alien babies, hybrid babies, and whatnot. And
Yeah,
one of the things that helped them is when they called out to Jesus,
yeah,
and then they were like, they stopped abducting them. And that was very strange to me at that time when I was like 26 or 27 when I was getting into it. It's like, why would aliens who are coming millions of miles away from another planet or another solar system, and then they come
yeah.
and abduct people to do experiments, and then people are praying to Jesus, and then they all of a sudden
They go
stop.
away.
Like
Yeah,
why would they care about that? But then later on I realized that, okay, maybe it's because maybe they are demonic, and then there is power behind that name. So I thought that was kind of
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I've been grumpy. I've been quiet. You guys when I stay quiet, I've been grumpy. I have like the roommates are like, "You want to go out and do this?" Like, no, I ain't even walking the dog, man. I said I
Mm.
feel like I have been violated and make a joke. I'll laugh my
So
ass off.
before Sunday, you were fine, and now the pain
I
just
was
happens on Sunday.
fine. I was fine. I did the video Saturday night, and then they said there was nobody in the place here. They all because of the storms have been going on. It's been flooding everywhere. And ironically, this place is the sister city of this place is the place in China that has had the
Wuhan,
coronavirus. Yeah, yeah, it's the
Wuhan.
sister city of Manchester. Ironically, the sister city of
Mm.
Manchester is the name you just mentioned the name of in China. So
Yeah.
I was thinking. Now I'm trying to be positive about this whole abduction thing. If it was in fact, because nobody in the house to do this to me, and they don't have the technology to replace a hole with white flesh. So I don't know what that white thing is. So I'm thinking maybe I'm trying to be positive in my own head that because it's a sister city in China, some of them are here. I think some of them might have it here. And if it becomes an epidemic, it would be here first. It would be Manchester. It would be a prime place for it to come, the coronavirus, because it's the sister city of the place in China. I keep missing pronouncing the name, so I don't say it. You could say it, Mike. Um, they would be here, and it would be maybe I got a shot. Maybe I got a protective shot. Maybe I like to
Oh,
think it.
well, it's a very complex issue, this whole
Yeah,
coronavirus thing, because I think it's a multiple things kind of wrapped up in one. I think
yeah,
on one hand, there is a genuine virus that's killing people. On another hand,
correct.
there is a psyop and this
There is a side. Both.
a false flag
Yeah,
on another layer on top of that, and then there's another agenda of like them whomever they are
yeah.
wanting to roll out the medical martial law.
I see
uh,
you too. You're
you
right.
know
I see it too. I see the
yeah,
multi layers of, and you got to
yeah, yeah,
pick which one because if they rebel in China, what's the best way to do it? I figured
yeah,
to keep people from forming groups and
right,
rebelling would create a, like you said, create a virus which separates everybody. Nobody's
right.
collecting in groups. If
Yeah,
if
I'm
something
not a go ahead, I'm sorry.
if something biblical were to happen, it's
Right.
best to keep them separated so they don't see it. But yeah, go ahead.
Always, yeah. This Babel, Tower of Babel. We are separated by language and race and all this kind of stuff. But I guess for me, like, I don't like to see things so much black and white in terms of this kind of stuff because I do feel like there are layers to it, and each layer has its own lies, its own set of realities, and then like higher you go up, they see kind of like the bigger picture of how everything's
Hmm.
going to be. It's like 4D chess, it's uh, so
Best
that's
way to
kind
say
of
it.
how, yeah. So
Comment:
Yeah,
aliens come from a different dimension.
I'm a dimensional guy. Yeah, I don't believe. Well, obviously now I don't believe it. I believe they come in through dimensions now.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
through.
right. I believe that too. I mean, there are different frequencies and dimensions.
Mhm.
I think there are different. I mean, aliens is a big canopy, so you have maybe underground civilizations as well. Maybe you have Lumeria, like Hyperborea, like the center of the Earth, and maybe there's a civilization we don't know about. Maybe there are civilization beyond this, because like we talk about Atlantis,
That's what I was guessing.
right? And
Yeah.
Atlanteans and Lumerians, right? But the thing is, like
Yeah.
the Earth, the plane that we know, like the map that you have behind you, Eric, is the center most part of the Atlantis. Remember, like
Yeah.
in Plato's Atlantis, there are three rings to Atlantis, right? So there's the center
Yes.
ring, and then there's an outer ring, and then there's another ring on outside of that, beyond Antarctica. That's what, yeah,
That's what I'm thinking
beyond.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
was thinking that
so
too.
it's not like Atlantis or Atlantia is like some island in between America and Europe or whatever, right? You know, li- like the ocean Atlantis. I think the whole of Earth that we know is Atlantis, and then beyond that is another layer, and then beyond that is another layer. That's how I see it. And in the Vedic traditions as well, they also speak about it. And it's just we've been kind of looking at kind of the wrongly, you can say, over the years. And so those people, those beings, they're aliens. Reptilians would be aliens. Anything that is non-human is an alien. So it's a big category, and there
Oh yeah.
are part within that. There is a group of aliens who are interdimensional. They come from another dimension as well. And I think there are quote unquote like benevolent and malevolent aliens in my in like the way they operate, but they seem to operate with this idea of like some kind of karma is involved. Like people are not just randomly abducted. They can't. It's like somehow you made a contract that allows you to be abducted, and then when you become aware of the contracts that you sign, you can somehow get out of it. By changing your life in a positive way or whatever. That's just my belief on it. So
Yeah. I wonder what the hell they did with my flesh. They clearly got a nice little round poke pull out. It's enough flesh for a sample. So they got in there, pulled it out, put it pretty fucking deep because it hurts all the way down to the bone. The bone even aches on the inside. So I wonder what the hell they
might have
got.
gotten some marrow
What are they
samples out of you.
doing with
I'm gonna have
it?
to check my arm before I go to the doctor tomorrow because the
Check
wife
your
is
arm.
making me go because I've been having this for 2 weeks. I've been hiding it. It's been such
Mhm.
pain in here. It's causing this to go numb. The outer part to go numb.
Do you have any white dots on your arm?
I'm gonna have to look. I haven't really like look, but I might because I can't even sleep on my side. Because if I do, I wake up where I can't even move until I take some ibuprofens and like move around just to do this show.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
Right now,
debunked.
it feels numb.
Yeah, I
Mm.
debunked. I don't want to scream shit like that. So I made sure I had multiple people take a look, say without me saying anything. What do you think of this arm? Tell me. They say, "Oh, you got like a white eye on there. There's like a white eye, it was like a dragon's head with a white eye." I said, "Okay, what do you think?" Oh, it's not a scar. It's like a white. They put like a white ink in there. I go, there ain't no white ink in there. It's flesh. What
Let
do
me ask
you
Mike.
think?
Let me ask Mike a question. Mike, you said during one of your stories that you were away from everybody for 3 months, where you were just by yourself.
Yeah.
Anything in that 3 months when you're by yourself, was there something that you couldn't really explain? But any weird thing did you
Uh,
experience during that 3 months?
Were you
well,
abducted?
I
Were
felt like
you?
actually there was a time where I thought I was going to be abducted, and this was I was on a motorcycle trip to the very north, actually borders Tibet and northern India. It's as north as you can get, without being a military man, as a civilian. So it's an area called Nubra Valley. It's also it's actually a part of the Silk Road in the ancient time. It still is part of the Silk Road. So people who were coming from the Middle East, they would go through part of northern India, and they would go to China, Tibet, China, to trade for silk, right?
Yep.
So in that area, you have to get a permit to get in, and I got a week-long permit, and then I parked my bike at a guest house. I told him, hey, look, I'm gonna just go to a mountain, and don't worry about me. If I'm missing after like 6 days, then you can try to come look for me. But then I want to be left alone. So I took my tent, some food, and I just hiked into some mountain, and then I camped out there, and then I was meditating and just hanging out, and then I saw one star that was like coming over very slowly, actually, and then it was getting bigger and bigger, and it was like literally right above my tent, and I was just like,
Okay.
oh shit, I'm in the fucking middle of nowhere, and if I get abducted, nobody's gonna know. And then uh like and then but it just kept going, and then it was above me, and then it just flew past me, and I was just like, whew, all right, so I didn't get abducted this time that I
You
know
don't
of,
know.
right?
You don't know though. You
Yeah,
might have
exactly.
been.
But it didn't feel like it, because I felt like the time
Good.
continued, because often like the story is like there's flashes of light, and people do lose time, and they have memory of the, like, okay, I remember being there, and then it's like just like you're completely out of it for maybe an hour or two. But I was not abducted, and then I experienced something very similar at the hut, where I just went out in the middle of the night. I went for a pee, and then I saw a star, and it was sitting there, and then it just kind of like again flew right over me. I was just like, fuck, what's going on there? But like that's as strange of an experience I've had. I had sleep paralysis. Have you ever had that before?
Yeah, I
You
know
know what
about
that
it. I
is,
know all
Eric?
about
Eric?
it. Eric,
No,
sleep
not
paralysis.
me.
Yeah, so it's like you cannot move, right? Paralysis, right? You cannot move, but you're
Frozen.
aware, and then you're trying to, do something, but you realize that you cannot. And the more you fight it, actually, it's like worse it is. So you're just trapped in your body, basically. Your body's laying
Oh,
there.
okay. Yeah, Bob,
You're
that happened to
yeah.
me during the camping trip, and you guys were calling me, and I couldn't get up, and you had to shake me because I couldn't move.
Okay. Well, we did a lot of those because remember Dave Rudemecken said that Dad was flying in the air. I thought he was crazy. So he woke up in the night and Dad was being raised up, and then he saw me
He was
hit the ground.
levitating. He
Yeah,
was
he saw.
levitating.
Yeah, our buddy said he saw my dad going up and then me hitting the ground, like hitting the sleeping bag.
Yeah,
Like I had went up and then
it's
got dropped.
possible.
And then
Yeah.
so we thought he's crazy. Shut up, dude. You're drinking too much whiskey, man. But I don't know now. I don't know if it's real
No,
now. Now it is.
no, there are stories. There are
Yeah.
many stories that people having divine experiences, and they're levitating and such, and it's like we we don't know how, we cannot scientifically explain it, but like it's not on the outside of the realm of plausibility. So
Yeah. Now it is. Now I know it. I debunked before, but now I'm like not anymore. Not since 2016 and forward. Now it's all on the table, dude. That's all.
yeah,
I
for sure.
can't. I still feel I'm hot. I'm warm to the touch.
Mhm,
My arm is still hot as hell here, dude. Like super
mhm,
warm. Backside is super warm. This side is
mhm,
cool. This side, all this is warm. And the person that is a medical person here says your whole arm is hot. Everything here is hot. And
mm.
then my head is warm. And so I have to sleep this off. I'm hoping it's maybe I'm just hoping maybe God had one of his little minions give me an antibody just in case over here that the virus comes, which I still didn't believe it existed, but I don't know now. I don't know. I just know that
Yeah,
this happened, and now I'm a little grumpy for it, and I'm just gonna
right.
But
get it to heal, take a nice hot bath.
what do you
Eric,
really think it means, Bob? What do you really think it means? You might be abducted. What do you think
I
it
don't
means
know.
in the
It
future?
looks like a cool eye. It looks like a cool eye from the. You can't see it now, but it's the white. It looks like an eye, so it looks like a dragon's face, and it's completely white. And it's completely circle. And it's kind of cool. You can see the eye there now. It's just a white, perfectly round dot, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool. Then I got
Yeah.
the forehead dot thingy. So I guess I look mysterious, but it's kind of cool because I think the Tin Man has the same thing now. So someone said the Tin Man got a white dot on his forehead. I said, where the fuck did that happen? No, Tin Man didn't have a white dot. I haven't seen any videos on the white dot on the forehead, but it's the same white dot here.
Yeah.
So well, maybe people are gonna start getting white dots. That's
you're hot anymore.
What's that?
Ornish says, I don't think you're hot, Robert. He doesn't think you're a good-looking guy anymore.
Well, thank you for saying I'm not hot, especially if you're a man, because that wouldn't go very well. But maybe you guys keep looking out for white dots on you.
There's still people in the chat like Suzanne Cow. She wrote, I've had levitation dreams for decades. Felt real, but shook it off as a dream because it happens when sleeping.
Yeah. I woke up with 2 cats on me, man, and they're the males. And these males don't sleep on you. These males they're male cats, so they sleep in their own spots. They don't even like each other. They like each other, but they're males, so they don't like to sleep next to each other. Right. I had a male dog and 2 male cats, and the other females are all in the back room where I'd feed them back there. But that night, all the male cats, I always keep cats in here when I do my shows now. You guys know cats. Just in case, cats keep shit out of here. Didn't work that night. But I'm sleeping on the couch. I woke up in the middle of the afternoon, and there was one cat male on this leg. The other cat male was sleeping on this leg, and the little dog was sleeping right next to me. So I'm like this, and I've got the cats on me. I go, the cats are on me. The cats don't sleep on them. They don't sleep on you. They don't. So the cats were on me. Both male cats were on my legs, and the dog was snug right up against me. So I'm like, that's weird. I woke up to that being weird. Then I just realized my arm was sore. I figured something happened that evening I didn't know about. This is before I saw the white spot of the arm, or somebody came and saw the white spot. The cats were on me. That's not weird at all. The cats. But would the cats sleep on me? No, the cats don't sleep on me. The females do, but not the males. But these males, and they slept next to each other. Because my legs are so both cats are on top, like next to each other, on my lap with the dog. That's crazy right there. That's weird right there to start with. So something happened. Something happened that night. I don't feel like I have been beat up, but I feel like I have been messed with. You know what I mean? You guys can make the anal probe jokes all you want. I'll laugh with you at this point because it'll be funny. They must have teabagged me in my sleep. Bunch of aliens with teabagging me all over my face. That's what I think happened. I got teabagged.
Why do you think they are doing that? Like, why did they choose to do that?
I'm an O negative, so I know from research that the RH negatives get fucked with. That's from debunking research. But I know I'm RH negatives. This is the only time ever in my entire life that I actually say it's 100% plausible. I have said nope every other time, even if I thought something. Nope, not happening. Not me. This time, this can't be explained.
Why did they mess with RH negatives?
The blood. Something to do with the blood.
Of course.
Why that blood?
I know. Well, see, everything's a myth. So you could talk about things that wouldn't be true. It's all a myth. Like Adam was supposed to be a RH negative. And then I guess Eve would be a positive. I don't know. And then it goes down the lines. All the royal family members are RH negatives. You guys do your own math on that one. And all the American, and Mike knows this, all the United States presidents were RH negative.
I don't know about. I know that they're related, but I didn't know that they were
and related.
But they're all RH negative. I don't know how you can. I don't know how you
can have fake President Trump.
Every one of them, Trump.
George Washington. Like, how would you be able to know?
Including Hillary's.
Without DNA tests,
well, that's fine.
How do we know? Without DNA actual past, how do we know these past presidents before the DNA test came out? They were RH.
There's a 15-year-old girl who did a whole thing on YouTube. There's a whole group of people who did it on YouTube, who did all the family connections, like the genealogists for the families, for the for the presidents. They work together as a group.
So there's
And
connection.
like,
Well, yeah, we know they're genetically related, but that doesn't
which they're
necessarily
always
mean like
negative.
RH negative doesn't always produce RH negative
No, exactly correct. But these people,
babies.
these elites, marry negatives to keep it clean.
Well,
to
we know
keep
that
it
it's the blue
negative.
blood thing. It's
Yes, they keep it
cousins
purposely
and
clean. That's why a lot of these American presidents, people don't know this, but a lot of American presidents, they're given the Queen of England knights them. Why would the Queen of England knight any American president? Because they're related. They're related
no,
all the way down the line. Now, this
maybe
isn't
they could be a reason, but there are other reasons like you give your fealty to the Queen,
yes,
as an American president or Australian prime minister or a Canadian prime minister. You give your allegiance to the Queen, and then you can get knighted that way as well. And then if you own
Knighted, yeah.
corporations, the Rothschilds, which are they're all Jews and such, right? Today I was listening to a show about De Worm, Baron De Worm or whatever, and he was knighted, and he's related to this Quint. I can't even pronounce the name of this company, but it's Win Q. It's a British company, and they are the ones who actually have a patent on the coronavirus and all the Q stuff. All the Q stuff, is related to them. Is intelligence, right? So we have like DARPA over here, and then they have Dura or whatever in England, and we give all our knowledge about like our people, whatever we spy on, and then England has everybody by the balls. Really, that's why we all speak English. Come on,
Remember the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds, they're Jewish. And remember, Jews are only Jews from the line of Judah. That's why they're called Jews, from the line of Judah. Yeah. They're Israelites. Remember, other people are Israelites. There's Israelites.
Jews existed before Judah.
Yeah,
Jews
Israelites
existed before Judah.
Yeah. So Israelites,
like
and then you have Judah, which is the line of Judah, which are Jews. So you still have Israel. I still have a thing about the Israelites.
They were all Jews. Jesus was a Jew.
They're not Jews. Jews are from the line of Judah. Israelites. The proper name is Hebrew. Hebrews are Israelites. Jews are from Judah, line of Judah. People get that mistaken. Okay. They call everybody a Jew. No. They're from the line of Judah.
No, these guys I don't call anybody anything. That's what they call themselves. You have Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi Jews, which have no DNA relations to the other Jews, and they're black, like Yemenis Jews or whatever.
Correct. And Asian countries too. There's also Asian countries too.
But it's not what I call them. I don't, like whatever. Like you can be like there are many different types of blacks. There are many different types of Asians. Like the East Asians, like the Koreans and the Japanese and the Han Chinese are different from the Southeast, like the Filipino Asians or the Thai Asians or the Vietnamese Asians. They're different, but they're
different.
all
Yeah, they're Israelites. These are from the Israelites, the lost line of Israelites. So you got Israelites that went to the south, the Israelites that went now evidence for the States. They went to China. The Israelites went to Africa. Israelites went to South America. So the Israelites are all over the globe. They just don't know it. It's been so many generations down the line, they just don't remember.
Okay, and I'm not, I guess, necessarily like arguing for or against that. What I'm talking, I'm more talking about in the sense that the people who are supposedly in control and they own all the corporations, they own all the media, they own all the Hollywood, they're in Parliament and our government and part of Congress, and they're actually like dual citizens. They're the ones who identify themselves as being Jewish. Okay, they're Jewish in their mind, but there is no DNA per se that we be able to just put them in all in one category, because again, this like Ashkenazi Jews, the blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jews from Northern Europe and the Georgia areas, they're completely different from this other Jews that they're talking about. They don't have any DNA relations, but it's a very convoluted concept that we've been fed, that these are Jews, and there's like a line of Jews, whatever. Like it's what they identify. They just call themselves, and they do so. Yeah, and they're Rh negative too. The Rothschilds and all these people, they're all Rh negative. These, as you were saying, like these are all the royalties, they're all Rh negative, and I agree with that. That's where the blue blood comes from, because it's blue,
Yeah.
because it's copper. We have iron in our blood, that's why it's red. They have
Correct.
copper in their blood, that's why it's red or blue. I
Yeah,
mean,
you know your research. Yeah, yeah, you're on the same page as me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I have a theory that like during like the World War I, World War II, all the way up to the Gulf Wars, when they came in and raided. You remember this? They raided all the museums. They said, what were they looking for? The museums. They're looking for anything that would link them to being Israelites. They were going and stealing anything that reflects a lost tribe of Israel. They're removing, so that basically the line of Judah is having them go in there and remove anything to anywhere.
Well, they're 12 tribes, right?
Yeah, so they can't. Hi, I'm part of the lost Israeli, or I'm part of the one of the lost tribes of Israel. Well, you're not. There's no evidence of that, because of course now they stole it all. They've got it burned or destroyed or put away in the Smithsonian Institute.
Well,
Right.
Hey, Mike and Healy actually has a good serious question. Serious question. How do we find out? Do we donate blood?
Take a test.
About what? About what?
I guess maybe you talk about finding out what we are, like if we have RH versus.
Yeah, you can do a blood test yourself. You can do it yourself.
Here's the thing. But here's the point of contention for me about these 23andMe or any of this kind of DNA tests. Is because, well, first of all, not only the fact that like Google and the wives of Google and YouTube and all these like people, they own all these DNA, so they're keeping a track of everybody and their DNA. Yep. So that's a problem in itself. But I'm talking about another issue, which is that it talks about, oh, you're a certain percent Spanish or a certain percent French or a certain percent whatever. There are no borders. There was like Franks who and then there were the Moors who came from Africa, and they conquered Spain. I mean, like if you look at like a 1,000-year period, like all of these lines are moving back and forth all the time because people are moving around. So like you can't, so like now, like the modern like borders that we have of like Portugal and Spain, and your parents are from Scotland or whatever, like it makes no sense. It's like if your DNA is like millions of years old, we don't know actually like when we were created. It's not like our recent history is like 6,000 years old as we know it. I actually would say that our recent history is much less than that. It's probably more like 500 years to 1,000 years old, because we injected 1,000 years of bullshit that doesn't really exist. But that's another topic. That's a 2-hour conversation in itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't need to get into that.
No, like down in you're from Korea, and we even did some genetic studies in anthropology talking about how some Koreans, not all, but some Koreans had come down from the Mongol race, actually from north, and they were originally Caucasoid with red hair, blue eyes, long beards, and they had settled all down in certain parts of Korea, where now you have Koreans that are able to grow beards, just grow full beards with no problem, like the Ainu down in Japan, where they grow full beards, and they've been labeled
this is the best I can
almost
do right here. This is it.
Yeah, see, you probably got a little bit of the Israeli, or so the lost Israel tribe, and which was probably the Mongols that had made their way down. There's just all over the place. So everybody moved everywhere. Everybody was nomadic at one time. There's nobody.
Okay, but at the same time, we do have distinction of Asian and blacks. There are specific races.
There's a state.
Yeah, so like East Asians, for example, like you will not, it's like less than 1% of the whole of the population of East Asia will have Rh negative blood, for example. But blacks will have Rh negative, and whites will have Rh negative. And on the average, if you combine both blacks and the whites together, it's about 15 to 20% who will have Rh negative, unless you're in a region between France and Spain, where it's called the Basque area, and it's like 35 to 40% of the people there are of Rh negative. And then if you go into the aristocratic range, it's like another layer. It's like that viscous layer of oil and water, right? We're of the water, and then there's that layer of oil. That's like almost like 80, 90% RH negative. So it's
Oh
like, so like from some of the Vedic stories that I've heard, like uh, the I mean the Asians come from the orangutan gene. Somehow
yeah. Oh, so
the
bad.
orangutan was used as like the base, you can say, to
Yeah,
create
it's in, no,
Asian.
disregard that. Disregard that. There's
No,
no
no, no,
connection at all.
no, 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 no. Like I believe it. I think it's possible.
Did
Like
you?
I think,
Oh,
yeah, I think blacks come from a different like ape species, and they're mixed in. Like
okay.
for example, pigs. If you look at pigs, actually they have some kind of human DNA in them. It's like warthog
Really?
and human DNA mixed in, and that's why some cultures do not want you to eat pigs because you're being
Well,
cannibalistic to a
Okay.
degree.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the
So
Bible that Jesus took some the possessed. He was a person was possessed and pulled the spirits out. They said we are
demons.
legion and placed
Yeah.
them into the pigs and then
Yeah.
ran the
And then
pigs
he
off
threw
the
them off
cliff.
the cliff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the biblical reason why. But then there's other people say, well, at one time pigs were made to be donators. They donated organs. They were little organ donators for human species way back in the day of the Anunnaki, who made pigs specifically for organ donations, which is again like a myth. It's you got to everything's on the table now. Everything's
Yeah.
on the table. That's why I was saying that with abductions and weird shit. So if you believe that maybe pigs were made for organ donations, blood donations, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, I don't eat meat, so
yeah,
whatever, but I used to eat, I ate pigs before. I mean, like we all eat pigs or whatever. I mean, whatever. Like, just be aware what's going on
yeah,
anyway, and then just use discernment.
yeah,
And anyway, like eating a lot of meat in general is not healthy. It's about health. You want to be healthy. You want to be sound of mind, sound of body. And sound spiritually. All this kind of stuff. We have to be. If you're not going to take care of, who's going to take care for you? Nobody's going to take care
yeah.
of your body for you if you don't give a fuck about your body, obviously. So,
I'm just happy that I'm happy that cattle are in the Bible now. So we used to never be cattle in the Bible. So there's cattle in the Bible now. So I'm like, I could eat a hamburger and not feel so bad. Biblically, I can say I can have a steak. Now, I'm not putting down anybody that's of any eating nationalities or whatever your preferences.
yeah,
Hey, whatever makes you stronger. It's all I say.
yeah,
I'm
it's
an
fine.
old, so I'm a beef guy. So I like my steaks.
Yeah,
I've
it's
tried
fine.
not eating meat for a while. I got sick, real sick, got real
Mhm.
sick. So I go back to eating the beef. I eat steaks daily. So I have to.
I I don't come from like how would I say, like a school of thought where
Oh yeah,
when I was younger, when I first became like a vegetarian, I was very adamant about my beliefs, and I felt like it was like important that everybody had to share them. But like I don't care. It's your
yeah,
body. It's what you want to consume. We contribute to everything anyway.
yeah,
We buy, we spend money, and when you buy meat, obviously you are aware that you are contributing to a animal factory
yeah,
system. And like I would love to see where it's in the law of economics, it's not that demand follows supply. It's the supply always follow demand. That's why people are willing to go and hunt extinct animals, rhinos, and go chop them off with a chainsaw because some Chinese guy think he's going to
oh
get a
yeah,
bigger boner by grinding up that stuff, and he's willing to pay big money for it. And for them, it's always justified. And we shake our head and be like, that's stupid, or that's something that I would never do. But think about the African guy, $40,000 is like, many years worth of savings for him. Like you just go and do it once, and then
yes,
it's like he's set. That's like $400,000 for us, maybe. And then
yeah,
like the Chinese guy, he's like 70 years old and he's a millionaire and he just wants to get a boner. I don't know, I mean, like that's
yeah.
that's what he wants,
I'm with you.
and
I'm a hunter. I'm a hunter, and that's just unnecessary, man. We hunted for food.
Yeah,
We
that's
we were
wrong.
poor.
That's wrong.
but
It's unnecessary, man. Like I was in a foreign. I'm not going to mention any Asian country, and I don't want to point any fingers at any certain country. But I was in a certain country over there, and I was petting a
Mhm,
black puppy. It was a little puppy on a rope, and I was petting the puppy, little
mhm,
puppy. And this
mhm.
woman come out and out of nowhere welted me in the back of the head with a broom that's made of twigs. Where it didn't
Why?
hurt that bad, but it hurt. So she hit me in the head with it. I hit the ground. Ow! And she was just pounding me with it. So I eventually got away, and I was like, "What the hell? That's Asian." He said, "Hey, dude, you're just messing. That's a pharmacy. That's a pharmacy, man. That's
Uh-huh.
black dog. That's
Uh,
black dog. That's a
I
pharmacy.
see.
That no. Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah.
I went back and I freed that dog, but
No, but
fucking
like
give a shit.
Koreans are notorious. Koreans are notorious for eating dogs, and Chinese too. But like I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it when I
yeah,
was younger, and I've tried
yeah,
dog meat when I was younger because actually,
yeah,
people don't have anything else to eat. Whatever, like that's
yeah.
the situation I was in. But it's horrific actually what they do because they what they do is they put them in a bag. I'm sorry to be graphic, but it's
No,
good to
no.
be
Yeah.
aware. Good to be
Here's
aware.
guys.
Excuse me?
Oh no, I
Yeah.
think
So
sidebar disclaimer, guys. If you ladies in there, put your fingers in your ears and
yeah, yeah,
explain
yeah,
something
yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
No,
Yeah,
this is
disclaimer.
real stuff, and
Yeah,
it's not something I'm trying to glorify or anything, but it's
yeah.
reality. Okay, it's you. They put a dog in a bag. They're treated. They're chained up usually, and they're just like fed shit, and then they don't walk them. They're just treated like food, right?
Mhm.
And then they put them in a bag and they beat them with like a bat or some kind of stick, and they break their bones. Okay, and then once they take them out, okay, they use a blowtorch and they burn them alive. They're still alive. They're
So the
still
hair.
alive.
Yeah,
Yeah, they burn them, but they're still alive, and they do this, and
yeah.
then they die in agony, and they wallow in pain. And I've seen it done, and I've seen it done multiple times. But the thing is, the reason why they do it. Do you know the reason why they do it?
No, why? I know for medicine and I know for food. That's about it.
But do you know why, Eric?
No.
Maybe they grew up on it. That's all they know.
Yeah.
No, no. Well, no. There's the method to the madness, and the reason is because by beating the dogs and putting them through such pain that
Uh-huh.
it creates adrenaline,
Oh.
right? And the
Oh.
adrenaline gets injected into the meat, and that's
Mm.
what is the medicine part of it. That is the medicine aspect.
Oh, makes sense.
Right? That's the medicine. It's not just the dog meat, it's the adrenaline. That's the important part. That's the reason why they have this process of doing it. So
Well,
there is a period during the summer in China and Korea and Japan, and if you are wealthy enough, because dog meat is obviously higher in terms of uh, resource you are required to create it, because cows just eat grass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just grain, right? So
Just
like
great.
more complex an animal, like for example, if you want to eat lions for a living, I don't know, you're gonna need like so many more cows, and cows need so much grass. So there's like a pyramid of how much
Yeah.
meat you able to get, right? By the kind of animal that you choose to eat. So dogs are on the higher rung of that scale, right? Because they're not
Yeah. Of
chickens, they're
course.
not cows, right?
Like, oh,
They require more, and they're not that big. They're not like a cow or a buffalo or anything like
no.
that, right? And but the thing is, they are very like they're very stubborn animals, right? They're very robust animals, okay? And they create adrenaline more than other. They're dogged, right? Literally,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what people go after. And then during the summer, they eat dog soup because they believe it's gonna like be medicine for
Oh,
them. So this is the reason why they do it.
I kind of agree with the witch goddess. You wrote, but if you're
you know,
starving, you would eat it. And I guess
you
when you're starving, you
No,
would almost eat
if you're,
something.
but the thing is, like, if you're starving, then you'll eat other humans too. I mean,
Yeah,
like if you're, it's
humans have shown that. Wasn't there the plane crash in Alaska? There was it the soccer team that
yeah,
crashed?
there's a soccer team that crashed in the Andes in South America. Okay, and then
Yeah,
the movie Alive was based on that uh, um, situation, and few survived, and they had no food. But these are very extreme situations.
extreme cases. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very
I,
extreme situations.
yeah.
It's not like you're stuck in the middle of the Rockies and you're in a
No,
snowstorm, and then
yeah.
you know you it, you're that's something that you worry about when you're there, kind of stuff. It's like, the word cannibal, where it comes from. Cannibal.
Where?
You know where it comes from?
No, tell
It,
us.
it's a combination of two words. It's Canaanites. Okay.
Canada.
Canaanites.
Oh, yay.
Canaanites. One of the tribes, right? You
Yeah.
have Israel and Judah and Canaanites, Pharisees, these guys, right? And then you have Baal, Baal, Baal.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
who Baal is? Baal is
Yeah.
their god. It's the bull-headed god, right?
Yeah.
So they used to sacrifice people on this statue that was, a bull-headed god, right? And then so you have Canaanites who sacrifice people to the bull-headed god Baal, and you combine it, and it's Cannibal, Canaanites
Oh,
and Baal,
oh. I didn't
right?
know that.
So what kind of practice were they doing in order to get that kind of, like, we derive all these, like, like, you're this or that, you're a Gaul or you're a barbarian, like
Yeah.
you're this. They come from a certain tribes of people. They don't these words don't just magically appear out of nowhere, because they practiced certain things, right?
Yeah.
That's
Thank
where the
God the
word
aliens are cannibals, man.
cannibal.
Got me. We would never know. You'd wake up
Well,
as a bird.
well, there are these cow mutilations, right? So you've heard of
Yeah.
cow mutilations, and they're
Yeah.
very interesting phenomenon, right? Because
Yeah.
these ranchers, they talk about how, and they're surgically removed. Tongues and anuses are surgically removed, and all their blood is like sucked out of them, siphoned right out
Yeah.
of them.
You
Okay,
read all about
and,
that.
and their eyeballs and all this kind of stuff, like like soft tissue, all this kind of stuff is like laser surgically removed, and then
Yeah.
they're sucked out of all the blood, and then they just toss them back to wherever they found them. And
Yeah.
so they have these animals that are just actually, they look normal, but they're like stiff as a rock. And no
Yeah.
animals, no coyotes come near them. No other animal, no crows will come near them. They just sit there and rot. And then one of the things I read was about, like, how the aliens they like bathe in it. They suck the juices through osmosis, by osmosis.
Yeah.
It's their skin. It's the
I
way,
don't know.
because they don't have mouths or whatever. Some of these
Yeah.
aliens, and they just kind of like bathe in it.
Yeah. The,
Crazy
the, the thing we had at my workplace, which was NASA people, we all know they're full shit, but they're still damn good scientists. One of the guesses was that they're using the stem cells, because every
Mm.
area they're taking had stem cells. And
Mhm.
stem cells are unprogrammed cells. So basically they're making more of themselves. They're making more of them. They're using it as a little cell to make. They take a stem cell from a cow, then they take the DNA from a human, and they throw it into the unused stem cell, and they're making themselves. Like they're making mass producing them little gray cells. Again,
Well,
this is all mythology.
But stem cells, I think they are only produced in the marrows of the bone. They're not produced like in other parts of the. Excuse me.
We're taking from the marrow too. They
Then-
take it the laser cut into the marrow. They clean the marrow. They take the blood. They take all soft tissue.
Or
Any
read-
soft tissue. I think
I'm not sure
some of
what
the-
she is referring to in this particular. I'm not sure what she is referring to here. In what
history is written, but those who want to control over it, open your mind and more and read between the lines. Yeah, well, yeah.
I should open my mind more in what way?
Good question.
What do you get out of that, Bob? What do you think that means?
I'm more of the.
Here it is.
I was.
And then
Yeah.
you have Adam and Eve. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what about
Yeah,
Adam and Eve?
the RH negatives probably. Yeah, I'm more of the. I used to not read the Bible at all. Well, I know about it, and I knew it from Grandpa, but now I'm a little bit more reading into the Bible about certain things, and I believe in a God now because 100%. So I'm kind of
A
sticking
God or
with
dog God?
so
A God or dog God? There's a difference.
Well, you could call in 1,000. I could say lampshade. I tell people, I encourage them, if you don't have a name for God, just say lampshade. If it whatever makes you feel happy. But I encourage people to find your God or a God, the God, whatever name you have for your God. Feel comfortable with your God, walk with your God, and then feel brave. and then know these things are full of shit. A lot of things are bullshit here to get you scared, to bring down your karma, and just keep your karma, like you said, keep your karma up, keep it positive, keep it solid. If you get abducted, just get through it. I don't think nothing bad happened to me. My butthole feels good. Nothing else is bad.
Well, maybe your butthole gotten used to other stuff, and then so it doesn't really feel the flow more.
I got teabagged by a couple of days. Okay, that's fun. They're all having a great time. As long as they're having a great time. Took a little bit off me, left me a nice white dot on my cool tattoo. And so, other than a sore arm,
I've been probed at a hospital, and I didn't feel nothing the next day. So you could have still been probed down there.
everything seemed fine down there.
Hey, speaking from experience, that's great.
Mr. Buford seems okay. Mr. Buford and the boys are
Maybe
okay.
they wanted to suck your blood, and your blood was just that bad. They kicked you out.
But there's the thing. I did feel like I had blood drain. I feel like I had blood drain a little bit. I think
they were looking for something in your blood that they wanted.
I don't know. Yeah, but I feel like I was weak, like I had blood drain. That's correct on that one. I feel.
Well, they could choose many, But here's the thing: they could have, if they just wanted a blood sample. They could have taken it from some other area that's more inconspicuous. I mean, they left a mark. They left a mark. If you're gonna kill somebody, let's say you're gonna kill somebody, and then you wanted to give them an overdose of heroin. Let's just say you inject it between the toes. You don't stick it in their neck. You don't stick it in their arm.
Yeah.
You stick it in between the toes because that's nobody's gonna look there. What I mean? So these guys are these aliens, whomever they are, they're not stupid.
No.
I think, and throughout this whole alien abduction thing, people have had implants. They had some kind of like silicoid triangular objects or whatever objects, and they found them in legs and ankles and wrists and arms and this kind of stuff. So they seem to have kind of tracking. We don't know what technology it is. Actually, we really don't know. So,
it's in deep, man. There's no cutting this one out. It's in deep.
Maybe you have to find out if you have anything. Like in Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger had the probe in his nose, and pull that out through your nose, right?
Yeah, nothing up there. All I know is that is 100% pure ass uncut evidence. I got my shit fucked with, and so I don't. It's probably on my bone, or it feels like it feel in like around the bone. Eric, you better check yours. Nikita, you better check yours, man.
I'm just imagining if the aliens use your DNA to clone you. Can you imagine a whole army of you? Oh my god, a whole army of.
This is something I heard. I don't know for a fact, but RH negatives cannot be cloned. This is what I've heard. I cannot confirm I cannot confirm nor deny any of that.
Yeah.
It's just that the RH negatives themselves cannot be cloned. That's why they're very high. And there seems to be some kind of frequency that they are operating where more paranormal, more strange stuff happens around RH people. And I've known a lot of RH people, and their stories are a little bit more wild than people who are the RH positive. I'm an RH positive person. I've had a lot of strange experiences, but I'm also very.
You might have a relative. I've also seen people because I do anthropology and I debunk. So I read all the studies for the abductees, and they all had one thing similar. Either they were RH negative themselves, or their mother or father or grandfather or grandmother. It was in their family tree.
Yeah.
So it was in their tree.
I just feel like Elon Musk isn't one of them.
Elon Musk is
well, yeah, he could be many things. He could be an android. Who knows what? Yeah.
He's an NPC. He's just a player in the game. I just see him as a player.
You can't operate the biggest electric car company and SpaceX that's going to outdo NASA, and then run 4 or 5 other huge ass companies, and smoke pot and I'm sorry, and drink, and it's just like you to even run 2 of those companies, you just basically can't sleep at all.
No, he's the figurehead. He's a character in the game. He's He's a
Yeah,
pawn
absolutely.
on the table.
Yeah, he is. But the thing is, they can make him think that he is doing all this
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah. Good point.
Like
That's a good point.
Thinks he
you know,
is.
and he can believe that he is doing all that stuff, and
He
he can
does believe it.
yeah, he can believe that he is like this amazing guy. But like, you know,
I'm
that's how they
obsessed with
do
the
it.
guy. I'm not gay, but I love watching all his shit. I have to watch the dude. I'm
Get
not
out there. I'm not gay. I don't want to suck his
I'm not
dick, but
gay,
like, you know,
but I
I
like
think about
watching
it
this
sometimes.
man. I really enjoy watching this man a lot. It's weird that way. It makes me tingle. But I
Oh
watched
yeah,
it because he says the stupidest shit. He talked about him and his brother in a fucking hot tub, and he come up with all these ideas. And when he
that
talks
doesn't
to
sound gay at all.
he has a blurpy blurp face to him, like he acts like he's got a smirk like the Mona Lisa, like he knows something that you don't. Smirk always has it on his face, like he's some sort of he's pretending to be the AI, like he's AI, but you guys
Yeah.
don't know what AI could be like, and he like smirks his face. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, he reminds me of that movie Grandma's Boy, where they had that
I
guy
don't
with
know
the
that
black
movie.
trench coat. The Mama's Boy, when they had the black trench coat guy, they're the gamers. They played gamers, and he
Oh yeah. I know
like
about.
yeah, he pretends like a blurp blurp bleep bleep, like he's some sort of like some super robot. So Elon Musk acts like he's a robot. He acts like it.
Yeah.
And he makes people think he is. He's a schmuck.
There's a movie. I forgot the name of the movie. It was actually I remember watching it when I was very young. I think it's like the Starfighter or whatever. Have you guys ever heard this?
Starfighter?
The Starfighter. It's a kind of a cheesy movie. And so what
Yeah.
happened was the aliens came and they left video games. You know,
The
like
Last
these
Starfighter. It's called The Last
yeah,
Starfighter.
the Last Starfighter. Thank
I
you.
love
you
that
know?
movie. I love it.
Yeah, and the guy who beat the game, they came and abducted his
Alex
ass.
Rogan.
right?
Alex Rogan.
Yeah.
And then they left
That movie.
his clone. You know, they just left this like gooey thing, and then
He's a
he
robot,
touches them. And, yeah, and he's like an alien or I don't know what. But then like once you electrically touched him, he turned into that guy, and
Mhm.
they left him here, and they took the original, you know, back with them to wherever they're from. It reminds me of that. But
Dude, that's a synchronicity for me, man. I mean, synchronicity, whatever. I'm a diehard fan. I watched it not even a month ago. I have it on the thing. I rewatched
I own
it
it on
thinking
Blu-ray.
I had to. Hey, they even leave the guy behind, and he looks real, acts real, but he's kind of a jerk version of him, but it's still him. And Eric and I were talking about The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, because it was one of the first movies that actually used computers for the graphics in space. So it was actually a breakthrough movie of the first original CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. I recommend everyone watch it. It has a lot to say.
Put those Playboys down. I'll tell Mom about your Playboys.
He's in video game.
Well, there's a scene a little kid had Playboys underneath his pillow. So when he's seen that his head was on the desk moving, he's like, "I'll tell Mom if you don't, about the Playboys if you don't shut up." I know that movie. The character's name was Alex Rogan.
Yeah.
That's weird. Alex Rogan.
I know that movie.
Right? It seems appropriate for the time we're at right now. A lot of movies,
more and more.
But
a lot of movies do.
But I feel
it seems like they were made specifically for this fucking time period. Everything was ever made was made for this time period. For people like us that were super nerds.
They give you little morsels of truth in these movies. Yeah. They tell you there's predictive programming going on, and there's like, hey, like we know something that you don't, but we're gonna pass it off as entertainment. We're gonna pass it off as something fantastic, you know. And in reality, it's more real actually than we can imagine. That kind of stuff.
Lance Corwin. Yep, that's the actor's name. Lance.
Yeah. I think they did it in one. If you had multiple things going at the same time, so because my history here is different than my history back home. So the history here, so back home, I could have watched the movie with the movie way it was made, and the guy who made the movie was just a regular guy who says, "Hey, this is a good idea. That has an inspirational idea to make it like this and this and this." But he from here was doing it for a reason, but he from there was just receiving the information, just making the movie as a schmuckatelli. And me as a smart person, just watching the movie, meaning no connections whatsoever with anything going on, going home with popcorn and talking to Peggy Sue on a date the next week for another movie. But over here, it was done for a reason. But over there, it wasn't. So now that we're over here, we're going, oh, that was made specifically for this fucking Mandela Effect day. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, Bob, when you saw The Last Starfighter at the movie theater, it was actually double featured with another movie when they actually had double features. Do you remember what movie that was double featured with?
Was it that those stand up like they're in the robot machine bodies?
It was double feature with Star Trek 4 when they went to Earth. Or Star Trek 3. Star Trek 4. It was double feature.
When they were abducting the whales, when they had the cigar shape like aliens that they were like flooding everybody, and then they're like, we came, far away and long time ago, but you got no more whales, so we're gonna fucking destroy you now.
Yeah.
So they go back in history to like take some whales back so they can talk to the aliens so they can go away. Okay.
It was double feature. Back in our day, when movies are about to die, they double feature them up, so you see 2 movies for the price of 1. They don't do that no more.
They went back to save the whales.
2 for 1 deal. Yeah, save the whales. But that was a good episode. That was a good.
It was a fun.
That was a good one. Yeah,
dude, I love that double feature, man. It was great.
We got
to see Spock swim around with like the whales and stuff, and
talking to the whale.
Yeah, they have to go back, and then he's talking to the mouse. Scotty was talking to the mouse. I'm sure the Beat Me Up Scotty must have been all and Mandela affected out of there. I mean, there must have been at least a few Beat Me Up Scotty on that one.
And the whale was pregnant. Spock found out that the whale was pregnant.
Oh yeah, that's why he flew. He was underneath it. I'm gonna watch Star Trek tonight. I'm gonna watch the one where the first one they made, like that first one when they first motion picture one.
The motion picture.
I'm gonna go see the one when they do V'ger. I'm gonna watch it. So I know I keep watching these old movies looking for like weird ass truth drops, but they're in these movies now. So I'm gonna watch that one tonight.
The Star Trek 4, where they go and steal stuff out of one of the battleships. They can't beam themselves out of there.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go watch the original when they go to V'ger. Remember Voyager? I'm gonna go find Voyager, which is
what about V? Voyager reminds me of V. Do you guys know V?
Yeah,
the original TV series,
1970s.
Yeah.
Is it the 80s? Yeah, the 80s where they're like reptilians.
One of the aliens was Freddy Krueger, the actor who played Freddy Krueger.
I remember that.
He was a nice alien.
I remember watching those when I was in Korea, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And they had these like pistols that you shoot with your pinky or whatever. I don't know, because they're like, it's not like pointed from the top; it's like pointed from like the bottom.
That's fun.
Yep. Aliens had those pistols that shot from the bottom, and they had
and the way they stopped them was,
shovels.
The way they stopped them was a female had a baby with one of the aliens, and they had a baby, and they used the baby's DNA to make that red stuff that kills them all.
Yeah, it's a half alien, half reptile, half human.
Because there's 2 babies. One died, came out, and one lived. The girl who kept growing.
Yeah. See, it's funny. Everybody in the Mandela Effect community, I'm using the word as a nice word because I claim it as a nerd. Everybody's like a sci-fi nerd. Or I played Dungeons and Dragons. Eric, I got kicked out of school for it.
Hey, I was a Dungeons and Dragons master. I had 20 books on Dungeons and Dragons.
I D&D. The majority of people did
not just D&D, it's AD&D.
Okay. Some people play
Dungeons and Dragons.
They play Cthulhu. I see guys that are claiming to be like they're into the occult now, and they're talking about they're writing books on the occult and Aleister Crowley. And if you look at their research, these guys are Cthulhu fans and Dungeons and Dragon guys, and just regular schmuckas that are now like right now and awake, and they're awake. It's like all the people that were D&D, Cthulhu, those kind of games, comic books.
I had them all. I had it all. Like, I had a 100-sided die. I had a 20-sided die. I had a 12-sided die. I had a 20-sided die. I had a 4-sided die. And I used to draw maps. I used to make character sheets. I was like really into it. When I was
we need to do an online D&D.
Well, Michael Healy used to collect minerals. So everybody did.
That's a nerd. That's a nerd waiting to happen. He didn't get laid so much later in his life. You know that.
Well, so
over
did
the weekend, I watched Trick or Treat because I got the German Blu-ray copy of the original Trick or Treat that came out in the 80s.
See, that's why I get along with people with the effect, with people with the flat earthers, the Mandela people, because it's like talking to like nerds. Like if you were stuck in the cafeteria and everyone's out there fucking around and everyone's staying in the cafeteria because it's a rainy day and everyone's jumping in each other's games. I want to play. I want to play fucking Dungeons and Dragons. I'm playing this level. I'm playing this level. And you're doing
really.
I want to play this guy.
It's having an open mind.
Yeah, no, but it's like an interesting thought that I was having because, like, let's assume that everybody's affected. Everybody is Mandela affected, but some people realize that they're Mandela affected, and some people don't. Let's just say,
Yeah.
But I do wonder why the people who are affected and they're aware that they're affected are affected. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are the qualities of an individual? And we have all kinds of backgrounds. We have people who have a little bit more, witchy background, and we have people who are more Christian background. Like for me, like I was never raised a Christian.
Yeah, none of us.
Like I was not, but there are people who are raised Christian. Like I was in an orphanage that was Christian, but like when I came to America, my parents were agnostic. We never went to church, and I didn't believe in God or go to church for like a long time because my parents they didn't believe in God, and we never talked about God or any of this kind of stuff. We were good people. They're good people, but they were liberal philosophers, and they were just kind of like they just believed that everything has to be very logical and very materialistic, right? There's no such thing as spirituality per se. Like you just think they're very much like that Darwin guy. I forgot Richard Dawkins, I think, right? And they're kind of like him in a lot of ways. But I do wonder why all these Mandela affected people are like, what commonality, what common thread do we share that allows us to be Mandela affected and not the other guys who are not Mandela affected, right?
I still keep going back to, I'm just running theories at this point. I don't know, just for fun. I keep going back to the idea that we are the lost tribe of Israel. Like I call it the 13th tribe, the 13th tribe of Israelites. I'm not an Israelite. I'm a pagan. But no matter what your religion is, you're an Israelite. And you were one of the last members.
Let's read this. Read this. Go ahead.
Read this. Bob, tell me what movie is he talking about here? Nerds are better in bed. What movie?
Friendless is Sandy, Cassandra.
Yeah. But what movie is that from? I know what movie he's talking about. What movie is that from? Revenge of the Nerds, yep.
Yeah.
Which technically he drugged the woman against her will. Technically that's rape, but that's
yep. Technically it's rape.
That's rape.
It's satire. I always tell people the 80s were famous for, the last American virgin. A bunch of guys going to Tijuana and finding Mexican fly so we can give it to the girl to get laid. No, it's satire, man. It took the piss out of it. It wasn't like the rapists going out in some derogatory, evil, fucking slimy. It's satire. I was about people, when you see the 80s movies, don't say these guys are fucking sick ass. It's satire.
It's
never fun.
Different like time periods had different standards of like expression, and it was actually quite acceptable during that time. It's just like when we look things like that with the eyes that we have now, we're like, oh my god, they're rapists, they're like all this kind of stuff. But like it's just like, dude, it's difficult to explain. And if somebody is like 20 years old, and then they don't understand about that culture per se, right? It would be like for them, it's like you guys were raping people all the time or whatever, It's
the real message was about all because you're a nerd doesn't mean you're a real person. That we're all the same. I mean, the movie had a good message.
I liked it. I could say in my life, I could die tomorrow and be happy because I did a panty raid. I actually did a panty raid at church camp. We did a panty raid. Nobody got hurt. It was a great fucking time. Everyone laughed. It was funny. Everyone got in a big old screaming and laughing, and it was a great time. It was satire as a child, having a great time. Nobody got raped. Nobody got hurt.
You had a good time at that church camp. I know what church camp you're talking about. You were doing that, and I was getting beat up.
Yeah, I did a panty. I organized the panty raid. Yeah.
That's
It had to be done. It was church camp. It was church camp. It was
Church
being
camp.
too serious. Yeah, it was church
here's the
camp. So we were forced to go to church camp as kids. Our grandfather was a minister, so we're not. We're paganish. So I figured, well, since we got Viking blood, we might as well form a group and then have a panty raid. And it was
we
successful.
had a penny raid, and I got beat up.
Yes, it was successful. And we returned. All the undergarments were returned successfully. It was like the booty, but it was returned. Everything was returned. It was successful and a great time.
That's what he
It's
said.
not a big deal. But now, if somebody could do that, they get arrested. You know,
You get arrested.
You go to juvenile jail. You have to go see counselors. You know, I mean, and you'll be shamed. You know, somebody will be like walking behind you with a bell and be like, shame. You know,
Yes.
like seriously, it's
Yes.
really. Go ahead.
You know, in our time, the girls would do the same because they were just equally as nerdy and crazy. Women would go steal the towels while guys were taking showers at the same camp. The guys were all taking showers. The panty raid was over. We were successful. But what they did was they went in, took all the clothes and all the towels. So all the guys were left to walk out with no clothes on, and you had nothing, like you're running around like with had no towels.
Panty raid. Guy wrote Bill Murray. People, what movie is he talking about with the panty raid stuff? What movie? What movie? Do you remember? I know what he's talking about. What movie? Panty raid? Bill Murray? What movie?
With Bill Murray?
Yeah, what movie? I know what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about.
Is that with the golf?
Meatballs.
Meatballs.
No, they didn't do panty raid meatballs. They did panty raid meatballs.
Meatballs at camp. Remember, he was a counselor.
Yes.
You know, like I missed a lot of the 80s because I came to America in 1989. So like I was born in 78, so I was already 10 by the time I came to America. And in the 90s, like I've seen some of the 80s stuff, but like I'm not so familiar with it. So
I am.
Ruin the 80s for fun.
Yeah.
Even the gals. Even the gals are like, come on, it wasn't that bad. Even the gals wasn't that bad. See?
The Breakfast Club.
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, yes.
Caddyshack.
Meatballs. Everybody knows the cool movies, man. This is sad. Where we live now. I don't like this place. I would like to say panty raids come back, but then I would probably be arrested for something like that.
The reality that we have now is the reality we have now. There's no other reality. I mean, it's changing, of course, but like I don't regret. There's no point to like say I hate this or love this, or it's just just. That's what Vipassana for me does, is that you just accept. You just accept things as they are.
It's gonna get better.
You know, I mean,
I think it'll get better. I think it's moving to a better stage. We're getting better. It's gonna get better.
I think we're dumber now than we were before, to be honest. I think, like, you know, I think we've devolved, you know, over the years. Like, I think people were a lot smarter, like, you know, you know, because we didn't have like Google, we didn't have you know, machines telling us to add 2 + 2. You know, we had to do it with our brains. Now we rely a lot on technology to tell us, you know, what to think, and so that certainly makes us much dumber. I mean, like, you know, there's stories in the Veda times here in India, because all the Vedas were memorized. They were never written. People, you have tribes of people throughout India, and it doesn't matter if you're in the very east or the very south or the very west or the very north, and they would never see each other, and they would be speaking different languages, but their Gitas, their Vedas, their you know, mantras and all this kind of stuff were exactly the same, and they were preserved. And you know, this Mahabharata, the story of the ancient of India, it's like a million lines long. It's like, you know, it's like four or five times the length of the Bible, and somebody had memorized it. Somebody had to memorize it. That's the only way that we even have written form of that, and that's the amazing thing of it. Like, think about memorizing the Bible, the whole Bible, and memorize like 5 of it. You know, you know, like somebody did. You know, it's crazy.
Well, I named my daughter. My daughter's named Veda. I named my daughter Veda. I named my daughter Veda, and my daughter
Veda or Veda.
Yeah, Veda, and then my son is Jeremiah Bodhi from the Bodhi tree.
Okay.
So Jeremiah Bodhi from Bodhi Tree, and then my son is Veda Glory. So kind of from the same mythical kind of stuff.
I named my son Gabriel after the archangel.
Yeah.
So like
we didn't plan all this.
So Michael, Gabriel. So anything with EL, Israel, L is a word for God. It's divine. So anything that has L. So we have the word like elephant, elevate, escalator, election, the elite. They all have EL in them because they that means to elevate or to come from a higher dimension, right?
There's a debate in the Bible. There's a Yahweh, and then there's the El. There's an argument between are they the same person or are they a separate entity in the Bible? And I'm like, some person makes it sound like they're the same person.
Old Testament,
some person says one El is above the Yahweh, and then Yahweh is above El. I don't know.
I think Old Testament God and the New Testament God are different, in my opinion. And I think Old Testament God is like kind of like the false God. Like it's like a God who pretended to be God, and then it's like, oh, I'm more powerful than you. They were like the it's kind of like in Star Trek. You have this one. There was one episode of like this alien entity, and she, whatever it was, had like a spaceship, and it can transport itself and change to different forms, and it was controlling like a primitive society. There was an episode on Star Trek in the Next Generation, and then like Star Trek, so like Picard and his whole Next Generation crew had found out about this like cloaked ship, and this being who was pretending to be a god but wasn't, and then he would go to different cultures and transform himself to. There was an episode about that, and I think this Old Testament God was like that. He's like a spaceship, and it's like, Job, I'm going to test you how much faithful you are with me. I'm going to kill your son, and cut his throat. And then Job's like, all right, I'm going to do it. Oh, I'm just kidding. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Well, guys, we're gonna wind this down. I got some things I gotta do about 10 minutes. But right before I go, anybody has the last word? Like Bob, you got a last word before
Go
Mike
ahead, Bob.
Give it to Mike.
Mike, got any last words before we go?
He's been missing.
Well, like I think everybody's on a path. We are all on a path, and we came together at this time to learn from each other. And I think it's great that you guys have provided a venue for us to do that. And I'm glad to see, like Brian's channel and other people's channel, and they all have their perspective, and they are providing a venue. And it gives people the courage to want to come out and speak. Like myself, like I'm very introverted. I would never like create a channel or have the discipline to like come on like so frequently. And some people, they have the energy to do it, and I'm very grateful for all of you guys to be able to do it and providing a platform. And we all of us are on a journey, and nobody has the whole truth. I think that's something that we have to keep in mind, that we don't have a monopoly on the truth. We just have our angle at things.
Correct.
And so just like in this Vipassana, one of the things I think I would like to really wrap up on is the three kind of like pillars of the first very basic foundation before you can build a house is called Shila. And Shila basically it translates as morality. So we need to have like a good idea of morality, or what morality is, and then we have to practice that morality. And then after that, the whole meditation part is the concentration, and then after that is like insight or intuition. That's called panya. So there are layers to understanding, and if we don't put in the an effort, if we don't put in the effort to want to get better at ourselves, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to breathe for you. Nobody's going to pump your heart for you. If you are thirsty for the truth, me drinking water is not going to quench your thirst. So we have to. We are all on an individual journey, but we're on a collective individual journey. At this moment as well. So, anyways, thank you very much for allowing me to come here and rant. And it was great talking to you guys.
I appreciate you jumping on. I know I mentioned to you on Brian's show, if you want to come on someday, you said I'll come on today for Joey. That was awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
That's actually cool. Yeah.
And
Fuck Joey.
I hope this platform gives people a chance to want to come up here. Like some people might be afraid to go on a Brian show because he's so powerful and strong. And I hope maybe like a show like this, people might feel more comfortable coming on. So anybody wants to come on in the future, let me know. Michael Healy has come on a lot. He's a fantastic guy. Joey Roca, he's strong in the flat Earth community. He comes on, talks to us about the flat Earth. I appreciate that. And Bob, I appreciate you coming on. I know you have your shows you do on Saturday. And well, that's it, guys. We're gonna end the show today. I'll be back Thursday, and I'll see you guys then. See y'all later.
Watch out for aliens.
Peace.